Minister Theresa May is on an African tour to shore up her post-Brexit support. She definitely needs it. She is visiting South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. Mrs. May is trying to strike a positive note, and that'll be tough, saying leaving the EU without a deal wouldn't be the end of the world. She was trying to be positive, but it didn't really quite work out that way. Have a look at this video, though. She is dancing there, and unfortunately that made a lot of headlines, perhaps more so than the Brexit news. At this point in time, Eleni Giokos is in Johannesburg. She joins us now live. We really do want to talk about this dancing video. I would never be caught dead dancing that way. I think she did a fabulous job. Thank you very much. She was very positive. Yeah, we got more of that video.
She was. And let me tell you, if you visit Africa, if you visit South Africa, you've got to dance. It's a part of our culture. Our politicians do it. Our president does it. So we're really delighted to have seen Theresa May getting into the swing of things.
That is such a great point, Eleni, and I'm glad you make it. And we cut her a little bit of slack on a day when she sorely needs it. This whole issue, she was trying to be upbeat and say, well, we crash out of Brexit, and that's absolutely fine. And yet the pound dropped on it, and there are a lot of worried people in Britain right now. Is there anything that she said at this point in time that will salvage that, especially when she's supposed to be on this tour to try and strike up new trade deals for Britain?
Exactly. I mean, let's just look at the greater context of this. I mean, firstly, Theresa May walks away with Britain's first post-Brexit trade deal, and that being with African countries. And that's, of course, a testament to just how important Africa is, and specifically South Africa in the greater scheme of things. But back home, as she tries to unite a very divided Conservative Party, and of course, as she revives the spectre of the possibility of a no-deal Brexit, that creating a lot of jitters and worries. And of course, Britain getting ready to get out of this, big single market, and then trying to seal deals and trade deals with other countries. It's going to be really important to forge those relationships. So with South Africa and, in fact, 5 other countries on the continent, what she's managed to do is sign agreements that is going to be basically replicating the European Partnership Agreements and copy and pasting that for a UK agreement with 6 African nations. And that's going to mean a seamless transition when Brexit does occur. And remember, when you've got trade deals that need to be renegotiated, redecided upon and re-signed, it would take a very long time. And that would also cause a big fallout for African countries. And for South Africa in particular, we've got a trade surplus with the UK. We export a lot of agricultural products. If you go to London, you'll probably have eaten a lot of South African fruit. And it's very important for South Africa just as much as it is for the UK. And I think she walked away with a bit of good news today as she embarks on this 3-day African visit.
Yeah, and it's interesting that at this point, unfortunately, she can do no right, because this whole issue of replicating what the EU already has in place, if she retraces their steps all over the globe, she might actually get somewhere with it.
Yeah, she might. And I mean, this is the whole point, is to try and minimize the fallout. And of course, Brexit, in a sense, had also been, put on the fact that the UK can get new and better trade agreements with countries. And I think that this is probably the starting point for them. And she's also talking about a very ambitious plan to try and get the UK to become the largest investor in Africa by 2022 within the G7 group. And that means going up against the United States. But I think taking a step back and realizing that the UK for some time now has pushed aside African relations, hasn't really focused on investing on the continent. They come in, the Chinese focusing heavily on investing and trade deals and so forth. The US wanting to, forge stronger relations as well with Africa. Now the UK basically wanting to do the same. And also £4 billion is what she's saying is going to be invested in Africa over the next 4 years. So a lot to come as she goes to Nigeria and Kenya next. Paula.
We will see. We know that they'll be talking about Brexit at every stop. Eleni Giokos, thank you so much. I told you earlier at lunchtime that you stayed late, but now you really stayed late. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Eleni.
No, it's really late. Yeah. Good night.